In this video, I want to show you a better way to paint your Sororitas battle sisters for games of Warhammer 40,000. I'll walk you through painting the armour and robes in a simple, approachable way, breaking everything down step by step so it's easy to follow along with, and by the end of this tutorial, you'll have the knowledge and confidence to get your own battle sisters fully painted. And if you stick around until the end, I'll also show you how to tackle some of the more fun details like the heads. My name's Michael, welcome to TableTopReady, and in this video I want to show you that painting your battle sisters doesn't have to be difficult and you can still achieve some amazing results. And just so you know, all the paints and brushes I use will be shown on the screen as I use them, and they'll also be listed in the description along with links to my favourite hobby tools and equipment you see me using. And before we get started, we'll first have to get our miniatures ready for painting, which involves building them using sub-assemblies and getting them undercoated. I've assembled the weapon arms, and along with any heads I've kept these separate from the body to make painting them a lot easier. I'm also leaving the main body off the base for the first part of the tutorial. For the undercoat we're using Chaos Black, which gives us a strong foundation for the armour. If you want to learn more about getting your miniatures ready for painting, I do have a dedicated video on the channel that covers sub-assemblies and undercoating your miniatures in depth, so make sure to go and check that out. So when you're ready and have your battle sisters built and undercoated, we can get started. In this first section we'll be painting the armour, and along the way we'll be learning all about the basics of painting miniatures, and I'll also explain some of the techniques we'll be using so you can follow along. For our battle sisters, the first thing we want to do is paint the inside of their habit, and this is why we left them off the base, to make this easier. We're using Baraknar Burgundy, and so we achieve best results when painting. We always want to make sure to thin our paints, and I find an equal amount of water does the trick. As well, I like to remove excess paint from the brush on some paper towel first, which helps give us more control when applying paint to our miniatures. And when we're ready to start painting, we want to keep our brush moving and avoid going over any areas we've already painted to prevent creating any unwanted texture whilst the paint is still drying. And once you've painted your first layer, because we thinned our paint, it won't have covered very well. But that's okay, because we'll just apply another layer following the same process. Painting in multiple thin layers like this allows us to build up to a solid colour without losing any details. Just make sure to let each layer fully dry first before painting another one. Once you're happy with how it looks, we can glue our sisters onto the bases and get started on the armour. To paint the armour, we're starting with a Baden Black, and I know we already undercoated our miniatures with a Chaos Black undercoat, but it's not the same black as the Baden Black. So this means we get the colour we actually want, we can get to areas we may have missed with the spray, and it won't be so noticeable if we need to neaten up and tidy up any mistakes along the way. Again, take your time and build up your colour with multiple thin layers. When you're ready, we're going to start bringing out the details of the armour with a soft dry brush. This is a really easy way to pick out all those edges and shapes without having to be super precise. We're using Dark Reaper, and we first want to work the paint into the bristles. Then we want to remove most of it, because we want it to be a very subtle highlight. Empty sprue frames are great for getting your dry brush ready, especially if you undercoat them in the same colour, because you can see exactly how it's going to look before it goes on the miniature. Now we're going to lightly move our brush across details, so these are the only areas which paint will catch, but be sure to take your time and try not to overdo this step. We want to be subtle so we don't overpower the black of the armour. This shouldn't take too long, and when you're done it should look like this. Next, we're going to continue highlighting the armour. We're still dry brushing, but this time we're using a small flat brush, which makes it much easier to catch the sharper edges and raise details. This time let's use some Thunderhawk blue, and again we don't want to be heavy handed, just let the paint catch on the edges. With those dry brushes done, we can start building on top of them by adding some edge highlights, which is really going to define edges and details even more. For this, we're using an equal mix of Thunderhawk blue and Fenrisian grey, and again make sure to thin this down and remove any excess on some paper towel first, which helps prevent thick blobby lines. Unlike with dry brushing, we can be more precise, only picking out the most prominent edges and details, and to make this easier you can use the side of your brush and gently run it along any edge to create highlights. Otherwise just take your time painting thin lines where you want those highlights to be. As well, we can paint dots and lines to help emphasise the different shapes of the armour. If you want more help with highlighting, or you'd like to see what helped me improve, I've got a dedicated video on the channel that goes into this in more detail. I know what I'm showing you here might seem like a lot, but I just want to show you what's possible. And if you want to keep things simple and only follow a few steps, then that's absolutely fine. Always do what works for you and go at your own pace. To finish, let's do my favourite highlight, the spot highlight. This is done painting dots of Fenrisian grey on all the corners of the armour where light would be more focused. When you've done your spot highlights, we finish painting the armour and we can move on to painting any weapons and metal details. Before we move on to painting the habit, I want to show you how to paint any weapons and metals, as this can also get messy. For our silver details and weapons, let's get them painted using iron hand steel, always building up to a solid colour. Now we're painting weapon casings with Rune Lord brass to make them stand out from the silver. When you're done, we want to bring out details with Nuln Oil. Use enough to comfortably cover details and flow into recesses, but be careful not to let it pull up too much. If you do see this happening, we can remove any excess with our brush, and we want to keep checking it as it fully dries to make sure it settles nicely. Now we want to paint any gold details with Retributor armour, and instead of using Nuln Oil, we want to use Reikland Flesh Shade to bring out the details. Once everything is fully dry, we can finish by highlighting the metals using Stormhost Silver. Now we've gotten all the messiest steps out of the way, we can start on the habit. In this section, we're going to paint the habit and learn about glazing and how we can use it to create softer transitions. To start with, let's tidy up the inside of the habit that we painted earlier with Baraknar Burgundy. The reason we painted this first is so we didn't accidentally mess up the work we just did on the armour. Oh, and make sure you've painted the inside of the sleeves as well, they're easy to miss. For the outside of the habit, we're going to use Mephiston Red. It's a lighter red which helps create a nice contrast with the darker colour on the inside, and it's especially important to have a solid colour for the steps after this. After you're done getting both base colours done, we want to start bringing out the folds of the fabric. Start with some corn red, painting this into all the shallow folds and recesses of the outside of the habit. Once you've done that, we want to use corn red again and paint the raised folds and edges of the inside of the habit. We only need to worry about what's visible though. To make the transitions between these colours smoother, I want to show you how to make a glaze. We're starting with Mephiston Red, and to make this a glaze, thin the mix with double the amount of water. This is going to make the paint more transparent, allow more of the colour underneath to come through. Use this glaze over the areas where the two colours meet, using thin layers. Remember, this isn't a wash. We want to work most of the pigment towards the centre where we want this colour to be the strongest. We can also use a corn red glaze and continue to work the blend even more until you're happy with how it looks. This is done for the inside of the habit as well, using a Galvorback red glaze. When you're happy with how everything's looking, we can start adding our highlights. Glazing is one of my favourite techniques because of all the things we can do with it, like create tonal variation, smooth transitions, and we can even create interest across our miniatures. It's not a technique just reserved for high level painters. With a little time and practice, anyone can do it. And the first highlight we're doing is called a chunky highlight using Evilson Scarlet. This is painted on all the raised folds and edges of the outside of our habit. This highlight does want to be a thicker line, so it will still be seen once we do our thinner line highlights after this. After the chunky highlight, let's use Fire Dragon Bright to paint our highlights following the same steps as we did earlier for the armour, using thin lines on raised folds and edges. Finally, we'll add line highlights to the inside of the habit as well, this time using Pink Horror. When you're done, this is a great time to paint any studs and buttons using Stormhost Silver. It's a small thing, but they need doing and it adds a lot of character. Now those highlights are done, we painted the habits and hopefully they've become a lot less intimidating to paint, and we can move on to the iconography in leather. We're nearly done, but there are still a few details to finish off, including the remaining armour details and the different kinds of leather. The first thing we're going to work on are the leather details. For the darker leather corset, we're using Dryad Bark. For the lighter leather straps and any pouches, we want to use Mournfang Brown. Once that's done, apply a small amount of Nuln Oil to both to create our definition. Try not to flood the details though, we only need a small amount. When the shades are fully dried, let's highlight the darker leather using Gawthorpe Brown. We then want to highlight the lighter leather straps with Scrag Brown. We need to remember that we might not be very good at something when we're first starting out, and that it takes time and practice when learning new skills. We all have to start somewhere, and for me the most important thing to do is to make sure that we're enjoying the process. The next details we want to paint is anything white, and this is done easily starting with Corex White for our base colour. Corex White is a darker shade of white which gives us room to add highlights, and it's easy to work with as well. To make things more interesting, let's use a Thunderhawk blue glaze and apply this to the whole area, as everything can easily be tidied up with Corex White after this. Finish these details using White Scar to add our highlights. I want to finish the tutorial showing you how we can paint their heads, including an easy way to make skin less intimidating to paint. For our lighter skin tone, we want to start with an equal mix of Kislev flesh and flayed one flesh, and make sure to leave the inside of any open mouths black. Then once you're happy you've got a nice solid base colour, we can start adding tonal variation. To do this, thin Guilliman flesh contrast with an equal amount of contrast medium. Just be careful on how much we use here, as we want to keep our light skin tone. Just make sure it gets into the features of the face and try not to mess with it. Just let it do its thing. Now that's dried, we can clean up and glaze the raised details and features with our original skin base mix. Finish the skin adding some highlights with flayed one flesh. It's a little tough to do on camera, but I've painted the eyes and teeth using Corex White, and then painted lines with red and black for the pupils. I've also used a really thin glaze of corn red for the lower lips. Using magnifiers or reading glasses really helps with these steps. When it's time to paint the hair, we can do this easily using Corex White for our base colour, and then all we need to do is pick out the strands of hair with White Scar. If you prefer your Battle Sisters bold, we can use a really thin glaze of Dawnstone to give us that clean shaven look. With all that done, I hope you feel ready to tackle painting your own Battle Sisters heads, and we can move on to painting any screens and lenses. To paint any screens and lenses, start with the Galvor Back Red. Now we want to use Mephiston Red where we want these details to get lighter. After that, paint thin lines using Fire Dragon Bright around the edge of the screen and bottom edge of lenses. Finally, let's finish up painting dots of White Scar in the top corners of these details. The last thing to do is apply transfers, and I do have a great guide going into depth on how I apply them. I've really enjoyed showing you how to paint your Battle Sisters, and I have painted them on the channel before, but I have learnt a lot since then, and I wanted to show you a much easier approach than what I used in that tutorial, one that can still get us great results using more approachable techniques, and more importantly have fun doing it. So let's see how they turned out. But before we see the finished miniatures, I want to say a massive thank you to all the amazing people who've made this tutorial possible with their continued support. It really does mean a lot. Your generosity allows me to get all the paints, brushes and miniatures I need to make these tutorials, so I can continue to help you get better at painting. And I especially want to thank everyone who has recently become a supporter or has donated to the channel. Thank you so much. If you enjoy the content here on TableTopReady and feel you get value from it, you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or joining my Patreon. You'll get access to our Discord, regular updates and early access to videos and tutorials. And for higher tiers and members, you'll also get exclusive masterclass tutorials focused on painting unique centrepiece miniatures. We've now finished painting our Sororitas Battle Sisters, and I hope I've been able to give you the confidence and knowledge to get your own painted. I've got plenty of other tutorials on the channel showing you how to improve your painting, and if you'd like something a bit more advanced, make sure to check out my original Battle Sisters tutorial as well. I really do enjoy making these tutorials and I hope you find them useful. If you do, then please leave a like and let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing about your own hobby and what you've thought of the video. As well, make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on future content, and I'll see you in the next video.